What's up, everyone? Today I wanted to talk about one of my favorite tricks, the impossible. There's a lot of debate about what an impossible really even is, but the way I see it is that you can either do more of a 360 pop shove it, where your back foot is just guiding the board as it completes the rotation, or you can have the board wrap over and on top of your back foot, and then your back foot pulls the board upwards to complete the rotation. I'm not going to get into if I think the 360 pop shove it method is really an impossible or not. I've even had people tell me that the way I do them isn't a real impossible, so I don't know. But I will say that I think there's a lot of benefits that you can gain from learning to wrap your impossibles. When you learn how to wrap your impossibles, you're able to gain a lot of height with them and pop them almost as high as your ollies. And this allows you to take them up and over things or into grinds much more easily than if you were to do it with the 360 pop shove it method. With that being said, let's get into how I like to do impossibles. The impossible is a pretty unique trick, and there really aren't very many tricks that you need to know before the impossible in order to learn it. I've heard people say that you should learn 360 pop shove its or tray flips, but I actually think the scooping motion that you learn with those tricks is not at all similar to the impossible. And if you think of it like that, I don't think you're going to get the wrapping motion. The trick that will help you out the most is actually pressure flips, since the motion that you have to do for a pressure flip is the same motion that you have to do to get the board to wrap over your back foot. You don't have to be a master of pressure flips or anything, but I think it is helpful to think of an impossible as a half of a pressure flip in order to get it on top of your back foot. For foot positioning, I like to keep my front foot just below the bolts and fairly pointed, with most of my heel off of the board. This trick is mainly in your back foot, so this helps get your front foot out of the way as quickly as possible. This also helps to counteract the pressure put on by your back foot and keeps the board nice and centered. For my back foot, I place it slightly outside of the wheel pocket and keep it almost completely straight. If you put your foot too deep into the pocket, it becomes difficult to get a good pop. And if you place it too close to the edge of the board, it becomes difficult to get the half pressure flip needed to wrap it around your foot. So try to keep it right in the middle. All of your weight should be on the ball of your foot, with your heel raised completely off the board. You'll want to keep your shoulders fairly parallel to the board. However, I do open them up slightly, as I find that this helps with getting a full rotation. Begin to crouch down, while making sure that you're still keeping the weight on the ball of your back foot and counteracting that weight with the ball of your front foot. Make sure that your board is not wobbling in either direction. If you're struggling with this part, you might want to try tightening your trucks a bit. I find that really loose trucks makes this difficult. As you start to jump, focus on pressing your toes down and inwards to make the board do the pressure flip rotation. You can think of it like you're trying to press the edge of your board into your wheel. If you could already do a tray flip or a pop shove it or a 360 pop shove it, don't try to think of it as the same kind of scooping motion that you do for those tricks. It's more of a pressing down, and you really want to focus on getting the board to flip over on top of your back foot. At the same time, take your front foot and pull it up towards your back leg. The goal here is to really just get it out of the way. As the board begins to flip, continue to bring your back foot inwards. Once the board is completely on top of your back foot, you're going to start to bring your back leg up and pull the board up with your back foot. This is where your pop comes from. The higher you pull, the more pop you'll get. This pulling motion is also what will cause the board to complete its rotation. As you reach the apex of your jump, have your back foot follow the rotation of the board and start to bring your front foot back down towards the board. Depending on how high you jumped, at this point your front foot will catch the board. But when you're first learning these, I wouldn't worry about that too much. Try to just focus on landing back on the board. A common issue I see here is people landing with their feet too close together, so also try and spread your legs out before you land. When you're first learning these, don't worry about getting the pull up super high or anything like that. It'll get better the more you do them. A good way to get the feeling for how an impossible should wrap around your back foot is to just do a bunch of impossibles with only one foot on the board. And that's about it, guys. This is also just the way that I do impossibles and my thought process when I do impossibles. Not saying this is the only way to do impossibles or the best way to do impossibles or anything like that. You can do impossibles however way you want to do them. But I hope this was able to help someone out there. Um, if it did, let me know. Or if it didn't, and somehow this made your impossibles worse, and now you hate me forever, let me know that too, I guess. For the rest of the video, I'm just going to put some POV shots in regular speed and slow motion, and I'll flip it horizontally for you goofy skaters out there too. But yeah, that's it. Peace out, guys.